yourself?
I go by station manager,
Okay.
but when we started this, I just kind of picked that title out of the blue. I picked that title out of the blue, and something happened. I don't hear myself.
I don't know.
But okay, well, I see that it's doing it. But I think that the real word should be director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then they'll call you the director of the studio.
Yeah, studio
Or
director.
the radio?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Of River
Southland
West
Play.
Radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
So thanks so much for being willing to be my guest today. So I just wanted to say a little bit about our upcoming guest next week. We're going to have Troy Lewin, and Troy is a vice president of a MRI department of a large company that's a imaging company, and we're going to be talking about how imaging and AI are impacting the world of radiology, what we can do with it, and how it's improving it. So it should be another AI show. So, but today I wanted to talk about something that happens at work when people are having performance issues, and it's something that's been standardized over the years, and it's a performance improvement plan, and it's if you've been handed a performance improvement plan and something feels off, trust your instincts, because it's something is developing here. It's something. Basically, they're looking for documentation on your work. So it's not a plan, it's a process. So the performance improvement plan is something that you don't really want to get. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the PIP means and how it is. And there's things that you can tell with the PIP, whether it's been predetermined. So if you've never received prior coaching and you had no verbal warnings and no performance conversations and no written feedback, and all of a sudden you get a formal PIP put in front of you, this may not be about improvement. This could be another issue. And I think PIPs come up because of many other issues.
Right.
But that they have a purpose, and the person that's bringing them forward has it. We're going to talk about that.
So are you saying that a PIP, if you get a PIP, it doesn't necessarily mean what it purports to mean?
Yeah, right. They don't necessarily want you to improve.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't they just fire you?
Well, they have to have cause.
So they're building cause.
They're building a case.
A case for why they're going to let you go.
Yeah.
Because that protects them from a lawsuit or something like that?
Most definitely. Yeah.
I see.
So I think they're really popular in bureaucracies. Government agencies, universities.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's just my feeling. I think that if you're...
Not so much in corporate.
Well, I think in the corporate world, if you find yourself putting a bunch of PIPs on your people, what is that? How does that reflect upon you? Because then maybe you're the problem, as Morgan Wallen likes to say in his hit song. Also,
are you saying that maybe in the corporate world, people can just fire people? If they just want to fire you, they fire you.
Well, it depends.
Is it easier to fire people in the corporate world than in the academic or the government world?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, so let's talk a little bit more about. Yeah, we just want to talk about some of if the goals in a PIP are vague or subjective, like improve attitude, demonstrate stronger leadership presence, be more strategic. What do those things really mean to somebody? I don't really know. They need to be measurable. So, but getting back to anybody can get, we're an at-will state, so people can get fired all the time. But this is about documentation.
Yeah.
This is about HR feeling good about, hey, saying, bring him in, I'll let him go.
Yeah.
Because he's had 45 days to improve, or 60 days to improve or something measurable.
Yeah.
And we've got documentation of that. So
What if the person improves? What if they're trying to let you go and then they make you do a performance improvement process? Plan. And then you succeed.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they really don't want you,
Yeah.
do you really want to work there?
Uh-huh.
I mean, that doesn't.
I mean, I
that
guess if
doesn't
you-
have. I mean, that's very,
Oh,
lovely.
maybe
a lovely
maybe
thought
it's a
of yours.
hypothetical that doesn't.
Yeah,
It's not how the real world works.
This radio show is real world, Zav.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, things
Yeah.
aren't going to get all of a sudden get glorious after the PIP plan.
Uh-huh.
Not likely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, it can, and and there are times certainly, and I think in some situations, that is the ultimate goal.
Mm.
But if it gets to the point where it's a PIP plan, then it's a documentation plan. You already should have some strategies in place in terms of what your work goals are, and what defines them,
Yeah.
and how you measure them, and so that should be something that's an ongoing thing. A PIP is we're doing this because we're not getting those things done. So, and I think a legitimate PIP is there's gonna be training, there's gonna be mentorship, they're gonna work with you. So
Is there something like a PIP plan where it really is genuinely like the goal is just to raise all boats and make just
well, I think
improve performance across the board or whatever?
in some cases, I think managers have been told by their managers, we got to get this person's performance level up if
Yeah.
we want to keep them, if we
Yeah.
can justify them.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I think that there are those situations, but as the individual that's getting the PIP plan, you're gonna know what's driving it.
Mm-hmm.
You should, if you
Right.
you should know if they genuinely want you to improve, and that. So again, you can do that without a PIP plan.
Mm-hmm.
A PIP plan is kind of a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say more often than not, it's a legal preparation.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
Yeah. So so strong managers are going to have good conversations with people. So there are one of the things that that people are trying to protect against is age discrimination and racial discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have somebody that's an older
Right.
person that you want to get rid of,
Yep.
there's a good possibility they'd be put on a PIP plan first.
Uh-huh.
So, and the PIP plans could be unreasonable too.
Right.
Unachievable.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. If you really want to.
This is something that I was wondering about too, and I
Mhm.
wasn't able to find an answer to it. But how many people actually quit before their PIP plan is completed?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I think a high percentage of people.
Yeah. So they know the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows what's going on when they get a PIP.
Yeah. So yeah, watch if they've quietly started replacing you too, like taking
Uh-huh.
responsibilities from you,
Uh-huh.
or maybe there's a new face in the office.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just got an email that the hope for a PIP is that the employee leaves before the end of it. So
I see.
that's the goal of a PIP.
Right.
Let's just get rid of this person
Right.
legally.
Yeah.
Yeah, without them coming back.
And without them even, the sooner the better. They just, again, it's like just to protect themselves.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of it.
Well, and I've talked to people too that have been put into PIP plans, and they've complained about that their job literally makes them sick physically.
Right.
And my advice to them, if that's the case, you better be looking.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you better be looking, because it sucks to have a job that maybe once was good and you really enjoyed it,
Mm-hmm.
and now all of a sudden you're dreading going in,
Right.
and now you're coming out of it and you're feeling sickly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a problem. So yeah, if your manager is just giving you avoiding eye contact and just telling you just need to follow the processes.
Yeah.
You know that they genuinely don't want you there anymore.
Yeah.
So so if you hit every measurable goal, this is kind of a robo reality check. Not all PIPs are predetermined, but here's the test: if you hit every measurable goal, would your job truly be safe? On a PIP plan we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. If the answer is probably not, you're in documentation territory. In other words, they're just getting a documentation together that that they're trying to get rid of you. So I can say, I've seen both sides, and when a company truly, wants to save someone, you can feel the difference. When they're building, trying to build something with the person, you can feel that. But if they're trying to build a case against somebody, you can feel that too.
Yeah. And I think I don't know. I haven't had many jobs like that. But often people will even tell you, like, we want you to stay, but you need to bring up your numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like.
So, but if you're sitting like here, let's say you're at your desk and, your coffee's half gone and the inbox is manageable, and all of a sudden something hits your calendar that you got an unexpected meeting with HR and your manager at like 2:00.
Yeah.
No agenda, no context.
Uh-huh.
They're not giving you any information what it's about.
Right.
Now, they might tell you it's about a PIP plan.
It might be a raise.
It's not going to be a raise. It's that's not going to be a good situation for you if you walk into it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's the performance improvement plan, and so we believe in you, let's fix this. This is a terminology they might want to use, or it can mean we're building the plan to get rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're building the file. We're taking the steps to protect us legally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the gist of the PIP plan, really. But just make sure that if you are getting into the PIP plan, that you have your resume together and that you're out there and networking, because I think you should always be keeping an eye out there. But some people might be in a situation where they have a job, they know they don't want it anymore, but they're close to retirement.
Right.
And we've talked about that. We've talked about the quiet quitters,
Mm-hmm.
and people hanging on. And
is that a strategy where, let's say you have someone, they're about to retire and they're going to get their pension or whatever it is, and they have 90 days, or I don't know, a certain amount of time left, and then they get put on a PIP plan for the purpose of firing them before they can get their pension? Because at that point you're really in lawsuit territory.
Right. And that has been happening with a lot of elderly employees that have pretty much tenure, let's say 25 to 30 years in a company.
Yeah.
And the company's acquired by a larger company, and these positions just aren't needed anymore.
Right.
And, so they can create unattainable goals and for people and in the plans, and eventually figure out a way to walk them out the door.
Is that legal? I mean,
well, that's, the legality of it. We would have to have an employment law specialist on to answer some of these questions. And it's always case by case. I have seen it where, no, it's not legal. I've been an expert witness in a case where we successfully defended an individual that was let go. Wrongfully terminated.
Right.
And there was no PIP in that situation.
Yeah. So
another reason to get one if you're thinking about getting rid of a high-level employee. So, but so there have to be, clear documented performance gaps in order for this program to work. There have to be specific established KPIs and sales quotas, production metrics, behavioral expectations.
Yeah.
So
what's a KPI?
KPI. Mike, what's a KPI? I forgot.
Okay, I'm not the only one.
I know. I was going to look it up earlier. There's so many acronyms out there now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Sorry I asked.
That's all right. I'm glad you did. It's funny. But, so not all PIPs are about numbers either. Some are more, like poor communication, or people just don't get along. That's what I've seen the most. It's like, just somebody just doesn't get along with their boss, and their boss is knowing it, and they don't like them. And they're not working to resolve any conflict. So, leadership deficiencies are a big problem sometimes too. And that's where I get back to, if these PIPs are a common thing that keep coming up with your employees, then there's a good possibility that you're the problem. So, a PIP, really is not the first step. You should have at least some verbal discussions or some written warnings or something before you get a formal PIP. But when
have you had many people get PIPs, people that you've worked with?
Yeah.
Because they're looking for jobs, so they probably lost a job.
Well, people usually, when they're looking for a job, they have a reason.
Yeah.
And a PIP would be a good one.
Yeah.
And do they talk about it? No. I don't think that's a good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean with the new, like when they go to their job interview?
I don't think they should be talking about it with anybody. Yeah. So
I found out what a KPI is.
Key performance indicator?
Yep.
I had another acronym for it, but at any rate, yeah. So thank you. From an HR standpoint, I just want to talk about what they're looking for right now, because they would be involved in a PIP in most places. So they want to create documentation. They want to demonstrate that they put in a good faith effort so that they can say that.
Yep.
So they want to reduce wrongful termination risk.
Yeah.
They want to avoid the lawsuits that are going to win. And they want to show non-discriminatory reasoning.
Yeah.
Again, lawsuits. So this is especially important with performance disputes and age discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've talked about that in the past, and it's going to come up again, especially as, the boomers keep booming.
Yeah, it's a big wave of people.
Yeah, it is.
That are reaching retirement age.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that people are, they get pipped because they were maybe promoted too quickly, or they didn't get the proper training for the job.
Yeah.
I don't think the pips are always their fault. So, if people are overwhelmed by the scope of their job, they're not going to perform well, and so they may get a PIP. So if you do get a PIP, here's what a proper PIP should really have. Okay, it should include measurable goals that are clear, that you understand. Examples of deficiencies. What haven't you been doing? Define timelines. So, typically 30 to 90 days. So it's not a long-term thing.
Right.
So then they do go away. So there is resolution sometimes. So some companies will use PIP plans more as just for performance plans. So they can kind of cross over a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, is there another kind of plan that's not as foreboding, that is sort of a performance plan, some kind of performance,
right?
Self-evaluation, or I don't know what.
Right. Well, and you should have that every year at performance appraisals. A lot of times there's an opportunity for you to score yourself, to score your own performance.
Right.
And, to take a look at it and be honest about, hey, what could have I done better? What are some of my deficiencies?
Yep.
And if you're having those conversations, a PIP's not a likely thing to be happening.
Yeah. What would that be? Is there
what would prompt a PIP?
No. What would is there some other thing that's like a performance evaluation that's not?
Yeah, I think it's
A performance evaluation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Performance appraisals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then there's goal setting too. So, your manager may say, "Hey, here's what we want to do for the station. We want to have X number of shows, for 2027,
Mm-hmm.
on the books by, the 6th month of 2027, or, something that's a measurable goal."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, the best case scenario, the employee meets all the goals of the PIP plan, they rebuild credibility, they gain clarity, and they stay employed. And this doesn't happen often. I don't see it. Yeah, because you have to have a few things. You have to have, first of all, the employee has to be committed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And we already talked about, if you got a PIP, what should you be doing?
Looking for another job.
Right. Is that committed?
Yeah. No. But
okay. Right. No, it's not.
Yeah.
So we're already telling people that don't be committed.
Yeah.
You got to be looking for a new job.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you've said that people should always be just looking for new jobs.
And I have.
Yeah.
And I think that's
just a general thing you should be doing at all times.
And that is the way the world is these days. I mean, people used to be worried about their manager knowing that they're looking for a job.
Yeah.
Or that their resume was out there.
Uh-huh.
Or I can remember using the fax machine as a, very confidential source,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember calling up managers and saying, "Hey, Zav, I just sent you that guy that wants to do the radio show's resume from, WTMJ, and I don't want anybody else in our studio or your studio to know that he's looking, so go over to the fax machine and grab that resume right away."
Oh, yeah.
Now, well, everybody's resume is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's like,
But if you're on LinkedIn, I haven't used LinkedIn in decades. If you're on LinkedIn, does that mean that you're looking for a job? I mean,
no,
it's just there. Yeah. So it's just there.
But
you don't know who's actually accessing it and looking at it.
Well, you can know.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to do a commercial for LinkedIn here, but there are different levels of the product that you can buy that's going to give you different access.
No, but I mean, like your current employer, if they went to your LinkedIn, they don't know if you're actively looking for work based on your LinkedIn page, would they?
No.
I mean, there may be some clues.
Literally, you could have on your LinkedIn page open to work. Literally.
Yeah. It's kind of like dating.
It's a button.
It's like dating apps.
Yeah.
Like, are you available? Are you making yourself available or not? Are you, why do you have your dating app, updated if you're dating me, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. That's another show. That's Hey 60s.
Well, I feel like, we've talked about this before, that your job is a lot like dating.
Yeah.
There are a lot of parallels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I use the analogy all the time. In fact, I used one recently where with one of my candidates, we were talking about a position that he was a candidate for, and he did not get the job, and he did not get an interview.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, let's just wait until the guy started, until because the candidate was saying that one's out of the picture, right? And I'm like, no, not really. None of them are out of the picture until you're back to work. Okay, so we don't know what's going to happen with that job. So the candidate that they wanted accepted a position that was offered to him.
Mm-hmm.
But that same candidate that accepted the position, found a better one and rescinded their offer to go to work for that company.
I see.
So then now my candidate all of a sudden is back in play.
Mm-hmm.
So...
and I'm just thinking about that. Like, is that burning a bridge? If you accept a job and then rescind it?
Yeah. But it can be. But here's the deal, though. All right, and I use this example with my candidate, my friend, and his name is, I'm not going to say his real name. His name is Frank. And his wife is
Francine.
Frank and Francine. So I said, Frank, I said, you and Francine are getting married,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a big commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And Francine comes up to you at the altar, and she looks at you, and she goes, I don't think so. You know,
that's a pretty extreme example.
Well, you said the dating example. I'm at least using a loving moment,
right.
you know, something kind and
Yeah.
beautiful, a wedding ceremony. So Frank, you're going to look at Francine, and you're going to probably look at her and say, you know, you were never good enough for me anyways. We're going to go with someone else, I think.
Yeah.
And we're all right with that. So it can be burning a bridge if you don't handle it professionally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and some people don't. You know, they don't know how to. But I think you can eloquently say, I hate to do this to you, Zav.
Yeah.
Because I really like you guys. I really like this company.
Right.
I was really excited about coming to work here when I accepted the position.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to also have to do what's best for me and my family. And I've got this other opportunity. And I don't want to come on board, have you guys spend 3 months onboarding me,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden this other company call and court me.
Right.
And because at that time I would really have a tough time making a decision to leave because I would feel fully committed to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sorry I'm doing this to you now, but I'm glad it's not 2 weeks from now or 4 weeks in or whatever. So you can spin stuff to make sure that people feel better about it.
Right.
But I mean, does it happen often? Not in my world, because I know what's going on with my candidates. That was through a recruiting firm that was not ours. I said that's bad. That's a bad recruiting firm. But I just got this from one of our loyal listeners. That the PIP survival rate is 1 in 5.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty bad, but it's
20%.
Yeah, 20%. That's not terrible. I mean, it's
what
still,
is if you're shooting a
3
3-point shot in the NBA?
Yeah. It depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a 1 in 100, that would be worse.
Yeah, that would be a lot worse. I'm kind of surprised. That seems a little high. But I does that survival rate? And I don't have time to read this whole article that was sent to me, but I appreciate it. Does that survival rate include the people that just quit, or people that actually ride it out? So those other 4 people,
right? Because you have to ride it out to survive it,
right? Or if
you're going to survive it at all.
So I want to talk a little bit about a partial improvement, where you're working on your PIP, and you really are making an effort. And so in those situations, again, oh my gosh, boy, this went quick.
It did.
Yeah, this is WXRW, Mark Rowbottom with Zav. Thanks for listening.